Hey everyone, it's Kathy Champion and you're back with me on my YouTube channel, Kathy's Random Acts of Stamping. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and I'm located here in the beautiful state of North Carolina. But if you're not currently working with a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I would love the opportunity to earn your business and be your mentor and lead you through your crafting journey. That's what a demonstrator is supposed to do. We're here for our customers who become our friends, and that's who I want to be. So if you have any questions, whether you're a customer or not, please drop your questions to me. It's better if you leave your questions in an email. My email address is listed in the description box below this video. Just click the little drop down arrow and you'll see all my information. You can text me on the phone number there, or you can just shoot me an email, whichever works best for you. Make sure that you leave me your name. A lot of times with the emails and text messages, we don't always know who you are, so unless you state exactly who you are, I may not be familiar with you, and I do want to be familiar with my followers and my customers. So thank you again so much for tuning in. We're going to be making this really cute little treat box, and I thought, we got Valentine's coming up, what a better time to learn how to make a cute little box. And this is almost like a little bakery box, very similar to a maybe a little donut box that we might pick up, or a pastry box. And I thought this turned out really cute, and we're going to do it in Highland Heather. But when you start out, you're going to need to trim your paper down. So this is an 8.5 by 11-inch piece of paper, and I'm going to put it in my trimmer on the 11-inch side, and I need to trim this down to 9. So I'm going to open up my my bar. My ruler goes all the way out to 17.25 inches, which gives you a nice long span. And I'm going to bring this to 9 inches, and then I'm just going to slice. So all I'm doing is taking off that 2 inches right there, and I'm going to save that. That's a nice little scrap. So now we have our dimensions, what they need to be. So the next thing I want to do is bring out my Simply Score scoreboard. Anytime I'm doing boxes or anything that is a three-dimensional project, I really enjoy using, let me zoom y'all out just a little bit so you can see the full picture. This is such a great tool to have in your craft room. It is a very sturdy scoreboard. It comes with the stylus that is built in right here, pops right out, snaps back in so you never lose it. Love that snap. So that way you know it's secure. So we're going to bring this up and we are going to score, and I'm looking at my notes over here. So on the 9-inch side, I'm going to score at 1 3/4. So that would be right there. And I'm using the smaller end of my stylus tool. So 1 3/4. And 4 1/4. Yeah, and I'm going over them twice to make sure they're nice and deep. Then we're going to do it at 6 and 8.5. So 8.5, just that little piece on the edge. Now we're going to turn it a quarter turn, and we're going to score at 3/4 and 2.5 inches on both sides, and I'm going to explain that to you. 3/4 is going to put you right here, and then 2.5, and all we're going to do is pick this whole piece up and turn it all the way around to where what we just did is all the way over to our right, and then we're going to do the same thing again over here on the left. We're going to do 3/4 of an inch and 2.5. And the reason we're doing that, and I'm going to explain that, sometimes your paper is just a little off, and if you turn it and do it the same on both sides, you're going to assure that these pieces in here are exactly the same, and your box won't get wonky on you when you're building it. So that is that piece, and that's all of our scoring. I'm going to pop my little tool back in there and slide this out of my way. And then we're going to do some trimming on this piece. Now, I like to lay this piece out because this piece right here tells you where everything is going to be cut. So I make this template. So I would suggest that you make a template like I did. And I write all my notes on this. I put that it's a bakery box. Sorry, if I start coughing, y'all, I will pause the video and we'll come back in. What I like to do is lay this down on here, and then to remember what needs to be cut out, I just do this. Now I know that all of this is going to be cut out, and then we're going to angle cut these pieces, and we'll come back in and do that. But once you get your X's on there like that, it's really easy then to see. Let's see, this one's not being cut, that one is. Okay, that makes it real easy to see where you need to cut at. And I just like to take my paper snips and I come in, even before I do my folding, I come in and I'm going to cut away the score line. So I'm going to cut on the other side of the score line, so I'm getting the score line completely out of there. Just like that. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm cutting that score line away. That seems to always be a question, to keep the score line or to cut it away. We're going to cut it away. So again, right here, I'm going to cut on that side of the score line, making sure I'm getting rid of the score. And I'm going to come all the way down to here, and I'm just going to cut up. And I think I'm going to grab my shears for that, because we are cutting a long ways up, because we got to go all the way up to here. So sometimes a longer pair of scissors will give you a more even cut. And as you can see, I'm cutting that score line completely away. So now those pieces are out of our way. Now I know that this piece needs to come out, so I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to cut that score line away. I find that cutting the score line away gives me a much neater box. It is a preference though, so you know, I always say you do what feels comfortable for you. Now anytime I have a little piece like that that's hanging and doesn't want to come loose, I just go back in with my snips and do a couple little snippies, and it usually falls right out, just like that. Sometimes you've got to be a little bit aggressive, but that's okay. Now I'm going to come back up here and I'm going to cut this piece out. And cut this score line away. Just like that. And then we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to cut over to here. Sorry about that. I need to silence my phone. We're going to cut up on this side. Getting that score line completely cut away. And then I'm going to cut straight down on this one. You know what? Let's go ahead and cut this, because this is going away too. So I'm going to get on that side of the score line and cut all the way up. Just like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut this whole big piece out. And I always say, just be careful when you're trimming your box pieces out. They will come out well. You just have to be patient with them. So now I'm going to take and cut this piece off. And again, if that piece, there we go, that came right out. So now I need to look back and I need to see which one of these pieces are cut apart. And it looks like all of these pieces need to be separated. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my scissors and I'm just going to go straight up that score line, right smack dab in the middle of the score line, all the way up, just like that. Do it over on this side as well. All the way up, and then we turn it and do the same thing on the other side. And up on this side. Now we're going to do some little wedging. Just to make this box go together a little bit easier, we're going to take and cut a little angle cut out of this side. And just think of it as a piece of pie, just like that, and that's what you should have. We're going to do the same thing over here. Just a little sliver to give us a little bit of room there. I'm going to do the same thing over here. And bend those pieces back if they're in your way. It doesn't matter because we're going to be folding everything back in just a minute anyway. Then we're going to do the same thing here. Another little pie-shaped piece. Angle that out. And I'm going to go ahead and cut an angle on these as well. And a little bit right here. And so now we have our box where everything is bendable and everything's ready to put together. So let me clean my desk off here. And so now we have our box. We are going to want to do some little angle cuts on it. So I'm going to do those before we get started. So I'm going to take a corner rounder and I'm going to use my Crocodile because, now this is not a Stampin' Up! Product. This is a We Are Memory Keepers, but a lot of us paper crafters have these. And I am going to take and do a 1/4 inch little ditty right here on this flap, this little flap right here. And make sure you get it in there. Just like that. Now we got a nice little rounded corner there. Let's go ahead and start burnishing our edges. So I'm going to grab a bone folder and I want these edges to be nice and crisp, so I'm going to really work them. Now this one right here, we're gonna angle cut this one too, just a tiny bit, just like that on both sides. And we're gonna finish folding and burnishing. This is going to be such a cute box to make for Valentine's treats. So just such a great way to give a great presentation to give away as a little special treat. Let's go ahead and angle this one out before we fold it. get those out of the way. Fold it and burnish it. And burnish it. Now our box is just about ready to come together. We got a couple more places right here that we need to burnish. And now our box is ready to assemble. And that wasn't hard at all, was it? So see how cute it is? And all we're going to do is we're going to bring these two flaps up together, and we're going to put some glue or tape, whatever your preference of adhesive is, right there, and square those up. I'm going to use glue because it's my favorite medium. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some glue right on that one. And then I'm going to hold this up, and I'm going to square that up just like that, nice and even. Now see how neat that's going to be, because that's going to tuck over top of it, just like that. So for this side, I'm going to put glue all along here and all over this little flap, because when I push this up and over, I want this to really hold together well. So I'm going to get in there with my bone folder, and I am going to just really give that a good press. Nice and even. The box is coming together. So now we're going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to put glue on this flap about halfway. Then I'm going to hold it nice and straight, square everything up, and once I get everything squared, then we're going to take and do the same thing. We're going to put glue on here. And on this tab. Now you could put it on either side. You could have put it on the box or the tab. Doesn't matter. As long as you get some glue on it, lay it down, press it really good. I'm going to get in here with my bone folder and really give that a press. Now, let me ask you a question. How easy was that? We do need a little thumbnail opening here. And I'm going to grab my 3/4 inch punch, and I'm going to eyeball this about a halfway. And that looks pretty good, don't y'all think? And I'm going to snap that out just like that. And now our box is ready, and all we have to do is decorate it. Now if you want a heavier box, cut a piece of cardstock to measure in the bottom. And what I like to do is I like to cut it about 1/8 of an inch smaller. And if you really wanted to reinforce it, you could very easily put a piece of chipboard in the bottom and on the sides. But remember, that's going to take away from what you can get in it, because that will take up space. But let's just say you wanted to reinforce it. So let's say we wanted to reinforce it with some black. We're going to measure the bottom, and it is 3 1/2. So I'm going to go at 3 1/4. 1, 2, 3/8. Let's say 2 1/2, and we're going to come back just a hair, and 3 1/2. So let's do 2 1/2 first. 2 1/2, and I'm going to come back just a 1/16 of an inch, just about, if not less, just a hair. And then we're going to go this way at 3 1/2 and come back just a hair. I think this will fit better, a little snugger. Yep, that's much better. So that's how you can line the inside of your box. And if you wanted to do the sides and the back, you could do that as well, just by getting those measurements, coming back off of it just a little bit, and put a lining inside of it. But we're going to decorate this, so that's going to be our next thing. So let me grab some designer series paper, and we will meet right back up. Hey everyone, I am back, and what I have done is I went ahead and cut all of my pieces that we're going to need to decorate our little box. And what I did is I chose from the pattern paper, and I did these recently while I was down and out and couldn't talk. I did some of these little samples with my designer series paper, and what it does, it gives me at a glance exactly what is tailed in that paper. And I also cut out the coordinating solid cardstock in circles and listed those there. It just gives you a really good bird's eye view of what you got. And I actually am using this one right here, and I was going to use that, but then when I saw this, I really loved this one better, and it gave me more opportunity for some different colors. So I'm going with this one. So that was the paper that I chose, and here it is. And I also chose the Howlin' Heather solid cardstock, which matches our box. And this little, if you have the dies, this is what the Sweetheart dies look like, and they bundle with the Sweet Conversation. They are so cute, and this die set pretty much can stand on its own because you just got beautiful hearts. And this is the cutest little thing, and this actually die cuts an envelope, and I'm going to show you die cutting it. I'm just going to go ahead and adhere it down to here, and we're going to go ahead and run that through our die cut machine. I'm not going to bring the die cut machine over. I'm just going to do it right here on the side of my desk. But I do want to show you how cute this cuts. And I may end up using this one. I do have this one, but I think I like, and I'm noticing something in the die that I didn't notice before. There looks like one flap is the top of the envelope, and I really would love to use that one. So let's lift this off, put my plates back together, and I'm going to lift my tape off. Love those little post-it flags for this. Now if you notice, this one here is smaller than these other three, so I'm thinking that these three are the folds of your envelope. So I'm going to fold those up, and that one up like that, and this one should be your top fold, which is the flap of your envelope. I don't think I did that on this one because I have the larger flap. Yeah, I did it a little bit different. I didn't see that when I first cut it, but wouldn't you think, or maybe this one goes up and over, and that's the top. That would work beautifully too. Yeah, let's go with that. I like that. So what I'm going to do to make this all work together is I'm going to put a little bit of glue right there. And a little tiny bit right there. And then I'm going to put just a tiny bit of glue right there. and hold that together. And if you have a little clothespin, you could put that on there and hold it. You could set something heavy like a stamp block on it, but this glue holds up pretty well, so I think I was just going to go with that. So now I'm going to get my pen back in my glue. And y'all excuse me if I have to take a sip. I am still struggling quite a bit with my voice. So I have these other hearts that I have punched out from different things that I've been playing with. And this is actually a blushing bride. And I think these blushing bride hearts are so cute. So I'm going to put one right there. Then we got some of these red ones. This is real red. I'm going to turn them over, getting them in the right direction. And then we're just going to play with putting some hearts on here. So I'm going to grab my glue again. I am going to clean my pen off just a little bit. And grab that ever trusty take your pick tool, and I'm going to use the putty end of it. And what I want to do is pick up my heart. Sorry for the interruptions. My phone has been ringing off the hook this morning for whatever reason, and most of them are just spam calls that I am not taking anyway. Y'all know how that goes. So I want this one at an angle. And see how easy this... No, Toby. No. The construction trucks are just crazy today. We got a little break in the weather, and I think they're trying to get as much done as they can while the weather's nice. Put one there. And we'll do another one of these pink ones maybe right about here. I'm so hoping that I can shake this stuff before too much longer. I may be calling my doctor back. I just hate having to go back in. I know this sounds horrible, but I just really don't feel like going. If I could just call them and say, hey, I need some more antibiotic, can you call it in? But y'all know that's not that simple. Do I want one more right there? I don't think so. I think I'm going to go with the ones that I've gotten. And I'm going to take and rake these. I'm using one of these empty little trinket jars that our Stampin' Up! Embellishments come in. And I am going to put those in there. And now those are on there. Let's go ahead and adhere our pieces to our box. We have a front and a back, and we have two sides and a top. So I'm going to do our front and back first, and these strips are, hang on one second, I got my measurements written down. These are 1.5 by 3 1/4. And no, Toby, I am so sorry, y'all. I am so sorry. As I was saying, these are 1.5 tall by 3 1/4 long, and they're going to go on just like that. And I'm going to adhere this on with just some regular liquid glue. You could use seal, or you could use two-sided tape, whatever your preference is. I like the glue because that gives me just a tiny bit of wiggle room. Now we're going to come back and clip that, so don't worry about that little piece. I'm going to lay that down and just press it down really well. Toby! Y'all, I am so sorry. Now I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to take that same size piece. So when you cut these, you're going to need 2 of them, and this will all be in the directions. I'll have all of this in our directions, and that'll be listed on the underneath the description of this video. There'll be a little drop down box that says show more, And if you go there, you'll be able to get all of the dimensions, everything that you need to make this cute little box. Again, I'm going to sit it down and give it a good press. Like that. Now we have our two sides done. Now we need to do our front and back. Now we're going to do our sides. These pieces are cut at 1.5 by 2 1/4. And they're going to go on just like that. So again, liquid glue. And just stick it on. You know, you just want to center it up in the middle of that area, so you have that nice pretty Highland Heather border all around. And again, I like to lay it down and rub and press it from the inside. Then we're going to turn it and we're going to do the other one. Same thing when you cut this, and the instructions will tell you to cut 2. But you're only going to need 1 of the lid, because you won't need to put anything on the bottom unless you want to. You can always cut 2 and put 1 on the bottom if you like. I didn't, because I don't see a need for it. And get this nice and straight. Lay it down and press it. Now that little reinforcement piece, I'm going to go ahead and put glue on it. And then we're just going to set this directly down into the bottom of our box, just like that, and give it a good press. And this is where I like to take my bone folder, if I can find it. And I just like to go inside and press this down nice and tight. Now the only thing we got left to do here is this piece right here. But before we do that, I want to decide if I want to put ribbon on this, and I think I do. But I also need to clip this little piece out. So I'm going to grab my punch, and I used my little 3/4 inch circle punch for this. And I'm going to go back in, and all I want to do is just snip just where that was at, just enough to snip it out. Make sure you get that piece out of there in case it had glue on it. You don't want to glue up your little punch. So I think I want to run some ribbon. So I'm going to go ahead and run my ribbon before I get started. And I'm going to cut a piece about maybe about 20 inches, maybe 17 inches, something like that. About 17 inches. I want enough that I can make a nice bow. And then I'm going to find the center of it. No, Toby. Once I find the center of it, I'm going to hold it. And I'm going to put a little piece of tape right here. And I think for this, I'm just going to use a little piece of seal. And that's just a tiny little piece, but that's all we need. And I am going to lay the center of that ribbon right into that seal, just like that. Now that's going to give me a nice little piece to bring around and tie up on top of our box. But before we tie it, let's go ahead and get this piece adhered down. Toby! I'm sorry, y'all. I put Toby in the other room, but he would go completely berserk if I close him up in a room. So I am just going to have to ask y'all to please bear with me. I think what I might have to do is record at night, because as long as this construction is going on, it is going to be this way. And I'm going to pull that over, and I'm going to just Rub that down really good. And as you can see, Toby, our box is coming together really nice. So now what I want to do is I want to put a Toby, come. I'm thinking what I want to do is I want to adhere this tape on both sides as well as the middle. So I'm going to take a piece of tear and tape. I thought about a glue dot and I thought, no, I don't think so. I think a piece of tear and tape. And I'm going to trim this off so I get a nice little square piece. Be a good boy. And I'm going to cut just a nice little square. And I'm going to bring that over and put it right here. What you want to do is stretch your ribbon out and make sure you've got your ribbon nice and taut. That'll help you decide exactly where you need to put that. So I want it right there at the edge. And burnish it down. Pull that backer off. I'm kind of doing that all in one shot. And then I'm going to pull that ribbon right into that glue. And that's going to hold that nice and straight on your box. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to cut another little piece, almost like a little square. And I'm going to pull this over, deciding exactly where it needs to be. Flip that back and lay that right there underneath that. And I'm going to use my fingernail and just press it really well. That burnishes it down. Peel off my backer. And then we're going to lay that into that adhesive. Now we don't have to worry about this moving. That's going to work really well for us, and it's nice and adhered. So with that all done, now we can go ahead and start doing the cutesy part of decorating our envelope or our box. So I'm going to start off with that. I'm going to need a little piece of white cardstock, and let's see if I have any scraps. And you know I do. I've always got white scraps. And this is a nice little piece. And I want to grab a stamp set. So let me grab a stamp set so I can choose a sentiment that we're going to put on here. And we will be right back. Okay, I went and grabbed the Sweet Conversations. This goes with the Sweetheart dies that we've been using. And this has a Happy Valentine's Day, happy to have you in my life. And then we have these little conversation hearts, which if you remember these from back in the day, these are so cute. But I think they are absolutely adorable for this stamp set. And you've got some fun little pieces in here too that can do a lot of different things, but we won't get into that right now because I do have another project coming up with the stamp set that I think you're going to really enjoy. But what I want to pull out of here is this right here, and probably the Happy Valentine's Day. And what we're going to do, I cut a little piece of white, and this measures 1 3/8 by 1 1/2. 1 3/8 by 1 1/2. So I'm going to use my corner rounder, and I'm using the 1/4 inch side, and I'm just going to round this on all 4 of my corners. And that's just going to make it look much prettier on this piece. It's going to mimic the corners on it, and I think it just gives it a much nicer look. than just using it plain. So I'm going to grab my my Stampin' Pierce mat, since we're using a photopolymer stamp, and I want to ink this, I think, in real red. I think it'll be really pretty, it'll be bright, and it'll show really well. So I'm going to move some of my things out of here. And grab a stamp block. And I want to try to get this lined up, so I'm going to use my grid over here. Just making sure my words are nice and straight on a grid line. And then I'm going to pick that up. And stamp it down. I'm just going to hold that for a minute and let that ink really adhere to that paper. Straight up. And beautiful. Alright, so now all we need to do is adhere this on here, but do I want to doll it up a little bit? Maybe put a heart. Let's see, maybe one of these little red hearts would be cute on there. And you know, this is where I'm playing, and I'm just going to break that off really quick. Like that, nice clean stamp. I so apologize for my coughing. It's so irritating to not be able to carry on a full conversation with anyone without constantly coughing. But I've been doing all the things. I've had suggestions from friends of mine, the hot tea and honey with lemon, which that's a staple, and you know, get plenty of rest. That's another one, which is kind of hard for me to do because I am always on the go, but I know I need to rest. I'm going to take maybe one of these little purple ones, or maybe the pink one. Let's put a pink one over here. I like that. So I'm going to just put a dot of glue right there. And let's pick that up and just set it into the glue. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Okay, so we got our little tag done. So our little card is starting to come along. Our card, I keep wanting to call it a card, and it's not, it's a box. It is, you know, we make so many cards that sometimes when we get into this mode, we are in card mode regardless. But this is definitely a box. So I'm going to move this mat over here for right now. And we've got a couple of hearts. And I'm going to put this die back over here. And let's bring our box over and see if we're ready to go ahead and start. I'm wondering if I want to string this on here. Let's see if we can do that. I bet we can. If not, I've got a tool that will help me. Haha. And we can just pull that on so we can actually tie this on here. So let's put our envelope right there. I've got a little string of these hearts that I cut out, and they're going to go up there. I'm going to use a couple dimensionals to put this down with, and I'm actually going to use some of these that are a little wonky. This is the leftovers of a pack, but I think these are going to work beautifully for this envelope because where I'm going to need them at, I think it's going to be perfect. Maybe my construction guys all went to lunch because it's quiet here right now. So we can hope that that's where they're at. They're taking these huge trucks of dirt and dropping them where they're grading the land to put houses, and that noise is what has drove Toby. Doesn't seem to bother Bella in the least, but Toby's my little nervous Ned. He or nervous Nancy. He is a little high-strung, and he barks at things like that that make bumps in the night. I'm going to put that right there, and I'm going to press it, and then I want this to come over and hang right about there, and I want this to come across here about like so. Maybe about like that. Oh, I like that. So I'm going to put some glue on the back of this. And I'm just going to hit just every here and there on these hearts. Doesn't have to be all over them. You know, we put a lot of work in these treat boxes, but a lot of times people take the treats out and the box ends up in the trash. Sad but true. Alright, that's adhered down. That's nice. So now let's try tying our bow. I think I'm going to tie it right there in the middle. And now I'm going to go left over right, and we're just going to try to get a nice little square knot up here. And just pull like that. And then all we're going to do is just trim this off at a nice little angle. And there is a cute little treat box that anybody would be thrilled to have. Decorated really cute. You could fill this up with candy. You could put a little snack cake in here. It's not quite big enough for a cupcake, but a nice little Valentine's wrap snack cake would fit in there. Or if you wanted to put a nice piece of jewelry in here, this would be a cute little box for a piece of jewelry, a bracelet. You could wrap it and stick it down in there. I think it's a really cute box. I thought it came together really cute. We still have a couple of hearts that we didn't use, but you know, we could stick those on here like this. You know, you could put one right there. That would be really cute, so let's do that. Let's just go ahead and put one across here. And this one can hang off right here. And there we go. Our box is done, and it was so easy and so much fun to make this. I hope that if you enjoyed this project and this is something that you would try, that you would go over and join our Facebook group and make it and put a picture up there and let me see what you did. I would love to see that. Also, if you're interested in any of the supplies that I used to make this box, everything's listed below along with a link to my online store. You can click there and go directly in and place an order for whatever products that you saw that you might want. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm going to zoom y'all in on this box a little bit more. Oops, there we go. Such a cute box. So dainty, and yet it's a very sturdy box. I mean, this is a nice sturdy box. Love the tag, love the ribbon, the envelope with the hearts. This designer series paper is so pretty, and this is in our new January to June mini catalog, so go take a look at it. If you are in need of a catalog, please reach out to me, shoot me an email along with your mailing address, and I'll be glad to get you your own copy of the catalog. Let me know if you would like just the link to look at the catalog. You can go directly to my website, scroll down to about midway the page, and you'll see the catalogs there, and you can actually download those as a PDF and look at them on your computer or your tablet or your phone. Thanks so much. God bless and keep you. And as I always say in closing, let everything that you do and say bring glory to our Father in heaven. He is worthy. Until we craft again, God bless and keep you. Bye-bye.